Hi there. My name is Beth Green, otherwise known as Granny Rocks.
Hello, I'm James Maynard, otherwise known as Sweet Baby James, and you have come to Lighting the Way, Granny Raps and Rocks. So stay with us and chat with us, and I'll pass the chat on to Beth, and she can talk to you live in person if you're here live in person.
Now, tonight I made a few notes. I jotted down 5 ideas because I like to have a million ideas on the topic that I'm talking about. And I thought, oh, I'm going to forget some of them. So I wrote them down, and now I can't read them anyway, and I can't seem to get them to sit anywhere.
You want to share the title?
So the title is No Matter Where We Are in Life, We Have Limitations. Let's celebrate!
Huh?
Right. That's the reaction. It's like, are you crazy? I'm going to celebrate my limitations. Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing I want to say before I get to the reasons we should celebrate is we have a hello from a friend already.
Oh, yes. Tracy is here and says hello and sends a heart of love. Thank you, Tracy.
Hello, Tracy. Yes. So anyway, number 1, I want to say that we all have limitations. Every single one of us. So like when we're young, we feel very limited. Oh, I can't vote, or I'm still in my diapers, or,
I'm too young to drink.
I'm too young to drink, or to vote, or to drive a car, or to go out with my girlfriend and get, slobbered or clobbered or whatever it is. So I'm too young. I'm too young. I'm just too young. I feel so limited. Oh, I'm so limited. Oh my God. Okay, so let's say at some point you start to grow out of that phase. You're 21, but you haven't maybe gotten your college degree yet, so you're too limited to get into grad school or to get the job that you want. Too limited. And of course, every time we think we're limited, we're always comparing ourselves mentally to somebody that we think is not limited, right? It's like, Gesundheit, James. I think I'm limited, but you're not limited. Well, there isn't anybody. And I'm going to get into that in a minute.
We have no comment.
Okay.
Amy says, hi, Beth and James. I like that idea. Never thought much about doing this before. Sends lots of hearts of love and caring.
Oh,
Thank
good.
you, Amy.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you for being with us and for liking the topic. I love that you like the topic. So, anyway, so now let's say you finished school, you did this, now you're in grad school, you're going to medical school, or now you have a baby, or you have to get a job, God forbid, a job, and now your time is so limited. Now you really are limited because you don't have time to do anything because you're taking care of babies, or your grandma is sick and you have to take care of your grandma, or you have to make a living, or you're limited in some way. You're always, or you find yourself, oh my God, my technology is just not up to what everybody else is doing, or I'm limited because I don't have a husband or a wife or an other, or and so I can't do this or that because I'm alone, or I can't do this or that because I have a spouse, or I can't do this or that because I have a child, or I can't do this or that because I don't have a child. It's like, I can't, and I'm so limited. And there's always these other, and I have no money. I don't have enough money, or I don't have enough time, or
Why is it that old people have more money and they're too old to enjoy it?
Well, that's what they say, but I'm not noticing that I don't have more money now that I'm old. I think that's one of those ridiculous things that people believe, but I do understand about, yes, if whatever money I have, time, right? Okay, so I don't have a job, but it takes me 10 hours to do the thing that used to take 15 minutes when I was young. So I still don't have any time. So anyway, what I'm saying is we are all limited. We always think that there's some stage in life where we will not be limited, or we compare ourselves to other people that we don't think are limited. Like, oh, they have all the money in the world. Well, actually, nobody has all the money in the world. I mean, everybody is, and I want to talk a little bit about that. Even if you have a lot of money, you're still limited to what you can do with it. Because if you have 1 billion, you don't have 10. Okay, we have another comment.
Todd says, love this topic. So true.
Thank you, Todd. Yes. There's always someone richer. There's always someone better looking. There's always someone healthier. And then you start aging, and it's like, ugh. So you think, well, I'm so limited because I don't have what I had before. But maybe I have something different from what I had before. But I was limited then too. I'm always limited. Now, let me tell you something. We got to celebrate this, and I'm going to tell you why we are
Great
going to
tell.
celebrate this. Well, the first thing I want to say about that is, can you imagine what it would be like if you were not limited?
Could
You-
float off into space.
Yeah,
Gravity
you
free.
yeah, we have another.
This was Tree Heart. Hey ho! And she sends a heart of love. and
Hey ho to
caring.
you too, Elizabeth. So we wake up in the morning and we have no limitations. We have lots of money. We have lots of energy. Now, what are we going to do? Are we going to go save the whales today, or are we going to save the muskrats? Or are we going to save the children? Or are we going to save the dogs? Or we're going to save ourselves? Or are we going to go to the bar and drink our time away? Or what are we going to do? How? It's like there's no structure to our lives when we have no limitations. There's nothing guiding us. There's no way that we know what to do because we could do anything. And then we feel like we have to choose something, or maybe we don't, and we just say, I just don't know what to do. I'm just going to go back to bed. So because Marianne will come and she'll make me breakfast. But seriously, if you have nothing but choices, it can be very confusing because you don't know what to choose because you have nothing telling you what to choose. And I'm going to talk more about that in a second. But along these lines, and even crazier, I hope you're enjoying this. I would like you to know that if you were unlimited in what you could see, you would see every microbe that's all over you, every dust mite, every little crawling thing. You would see all the dust in the air. You would see all the bugs in the air. You would see, I would look at you, James, and all I would see is a bunch of bugs on your face. And I would hear everything. I mean, what would I do? It was like every sound I could have, because I'm not limited anymore. I have incredible capacities to hear everything, see everything down to the smallest, to the biggest. Are you getting what I'm saying? Because, and it's very similar to what I was describing before if you didn't have limitations. Life is overwhelming if you're not limited to what you see. You would see every color. You would see into space. You wouldn't be able to take a step because you would see everything and you wouldn't even know what you're stepping on. You'd look down and you'd see that the earth is actually moving and you'd freak out completely. So you see, now that first we think we want to be unlimited, but we don't. And I'll give you another example in a kind of a different way of looking at that. If you are short and you think it's better to be tall, and I am short, and I have always thought it's better to be tall. Why? But, why? I can't reach anything. That's why. But on the other hand, if I were physically able, which I'm not, being short, I can get under things. The tall guy can't get under into these small spaces. Somebody's got to be short, right? And then, on the other hand, being tall ain't so great. You know how I know? Because once, many years ago, my husband, ex-husband, not this husband, another husband. So I'm about 5 foot tall. Maybe I was 5'1" at the time because I've shrunk. He was 6'4", and he picked me up one day and put me on his shoulders, which I was terrified. I was screaming because I'm afraid of heights. And he said, I want you to see what the world looks like from my perspective. And guess what? I could see the dirt on top of the refrigerator. Oh my God. I had no idea. Now I'm obsessed with what's on top as well as what's underneath. And so He can't get underneath. I can't get up. We're all, are you getting it? We are all limited, and we compare ourselves to others and think they are not. And yet, without those limitations, we would be completely overwhelmed. Now, in that same respect, limitations guide us, they guide our lives. If I had unlimited energy, I would do everything. Couldn't do everything. I don't even have time to do everything. But I'd be like, "Ugh," I would do this, and then I have to do that because I would have nothing that says, okay, sit down, relax. You've done enough today. I have no excuse. I would have no excuse. I could never be tired. I could never stop. I would just be going. And you think that's a good thing? No, because when you're going, you're not thinking. Well, you say, well, I'm unlimited. I could go and think. It's exhausting. I wouldn't know what to do. Do you understand? See now, let's say you're in our position, you want to move, but you have to sell your house. Well, what would you do if you had no limitations? Like, you could buy any house anywhere on the planet. My God, can you imagine going all over the planet trying to find the perfect place to move with all the money that you have or don't have? And you just wouldn't know what to do because there would be, let's say, 500,000 homes that you really like. And which, what do you get? Now, we, on the other hand, do not have that problem. We are very limited. For the first limitation is we have to sell our house. Now, if we don't sell our house, and we talked to a property management guy today, it is not a good idea to try to rent out our particular house. Bad idea. So that means we either sell our house or we stay here. For now. Right? But if my choices were unlimited, I would be going crazy, saying, well, is this better? Is that better? Is this better? I wouldn't know what to do. I would not know what to do. Thank God something stops me. Stop me! Do you understand what I'm saying, James?
Yes, I do.
It's like this wild thing. You have no structure to your life. There is nothing guiding you. How does the universe guide you if you have no limitations? If you don't have limitations on your energy, when do you know it's right to stop? No, you wouldn't know. You would just go on and on, making yourself crazy. You have to you have to deal with your limitations. You have to work within them. I only have 10 fingers. I'm playing the piano with 10 fingers. Now, maybe some people have 12, or they have 8, but nobody has 400 fingers, right? I have no idea how you'd play the piano with 400 fingers. If I suddenly had 400 fingers, what could I do?
Only a computer could do that.
Only a computer can do. Oh, I don't want to be a computer. So anyway, limitations give structure to your life. They tell you you have to go within these guideposts. Okay, this is how much money you can afford for a house. I'm not looking at houses from 0 to 5 million or 63 million. I've got some limitations, and of course I bitch about them. Oh no, I want the one that's 5 million. Or I want the one that's 1 million. Or I want that other. But actually, my limitations are giving me some structure, some way of knowing how the universe is guiding me. See, the problem is when we are angry about our limitations, it doesn't work. What happens is we just get resentful and grumble and, oh God, the biggest problem with our limitations is not our limitations. It's our resentment about our limitations, as though there was anything else that we could be other than limited. Maybe I finally find the perfect house, but I'm so unlimited in my capacity to see that I recognize that 10 years from now, that roof is going to leak, or the foundation is going to crack. And, oh, I can't buy that house. Oh, and I can't buy that house. Oh, no, they're going to be cutting down the trees in 20 years. I won't be able to. No, I'd be so at first I would be completely overwhelmed with choices and possibilities, and then I would be paralyzed with all the things that I know are going to go wrong. I'm not going to marry that guy because he is going to have a stroke when he is 32. Of course, I'm going to be dead by that time myself, so then I don't have to worry. So are you getting my point, how limitations are actually like a structure that makes you sane, that gives you some guidance that the universe is telling you, you know, Beth and James, if you cannot sell your house and you can't rent it, then you don't move. And that means you're supposed to stay here. Oh, well, if I'm not angry about that, saying, oh, I want to do what I want to do, and I want to do it, it puts a limitation on my ego.
Whoa.
Oh, no.
Big one.
No, I can't go out and drink yet because I'm only 14, right? Puts a limitation on my addictions. It puts a limitation on my gluttony. It puts a limitation on everything. Oh my God, if I could eat everything, do you know what would happen? Everyone else would starve. I would be eating everything and there'd be nothing left for anyone else. So we have to have these limitations, and they stop us from doing things that the universe does not want us to do. But we don't feel that way. No. We feel so, oh, it's so limited. Oh, no.
Hey, what about the limitation of starvation and poverty?
I would call that abuse, not limitations. I would say that people are starving not because of the limitations. It's the limitations of our consciousness that causes that.
That we're not taking care of each other.
We're not taking care of each other, and that's abuse, and that's another topic. But I'm only on point one of how limitations are, that how they guide our lives, and I better get going, but it looks like we have
Amy has a comment. I see how my limitations create a grounded framework to work within. That's reassuring, actually.
Thank you, Amy. That's what I think. For instance, I know nothing about medicine, so I guess I shouldn't look for doctor jobs. You know, I'm too weak to pick up a pound or two, so I'm not going to become a bricklayer. You know, I have that made the guidance is like, oh, you should play the piano. That's the only thing you can do. Well, then I should play the piano. So I really like what you're saying. It's a grounded framework to work within. It's a very, very good
And even if they
way to
say
see
that
it.
for playing the piano, your fingers are too small, your hands are too small, what are
I
you going to say
play.
to that?
I say I play within the limitations of my hands. And that's a very good point, because that is exactly what I do. I have very, very small hands, and I have a lot of disability in my hands, and so I can't stretch or do that. So I play, instead of playing with one hand, I'm doing this with two hands. I play like this. I play within those limitations. Now, I'm going to get to that. Okay, so my second point about why we should be celebrating our limitations is they challenge us to grow spiritually. We can't just like be gluttons for everything.
Run amok.
Run amok, like so many of the aristocracy. You know, they were so, what did you call it? Not
Decadent.
Decadent is the exact word I was trying to remember. They had no limitations on their power except, oh, their wife hated them, or the queen came in and you think you're like God, and then suddenly she puts you in the tower, and that's the end of you. But it's like you're forced constantly to deal with your limitations in a place of surrender and of acceptance. I want to do the best I can within my limitations, right? And that is a path to spiritual enlightenment, relaxation, and getting over ego, right? So that's a fabulous thing. So limitations challenge us to grow spiritually. So first they guide our lives, and then they challenge us to grow. Now, number 3 in this thing of why we should celebrate. Limitations stimulate creativity. Ooh, see, like the question about I cannot play a chord that is 10 notes apart with one hand. So I have to be creative. See, I've got a small hand. I can barely reach an octave. Okay. So I have to be creative. I have to find ways of expressing myself within those limitations. That is fabulous. That is fabulous. That's what stimulates me to break new ground and think new thoughts instead of just doing it the old traditional way. If I can't do it, I mean, you see people who do amazing things with limitations. Play the French horn with their feet, stuff like that. So I'm not kidding, James. I'm talking about I saw this guy played the French horn with his feet. People are really incredibly creative. And so maybe I have to buy a house that has walls around it that are pretty funky. Well, then I've got to get out there and find a way to make it beautiful. That will stimulate my creativity. Or I have to go out there and find somebody who can make it beautiful for me. And if I have a limitation of money, I guess I'm going to have to get creative in myself. Or I have to see past all of that and meditate myself into a different frame of mind. So if you are a painter or an artist of any kind, you're using charcoal or you're using watercolors, and as soon as you choose something, you are limiting yourself. And in that moment, you get to express yourself creatively within that limitation.
Oh, Amy has another comment?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I am not as fast in my job as others, so I have to keep coming up with new ways to do the work more efficiently.
Exactly, Amy. That is exactly right. You are being creative, and it's about being creative with our lives. Oh, yeah, I'm not very good at this or that. So how can I find a way to get around that or to compensate for it or find a different way or see value? Let's say I'm limited in things that other people think are valuable. Well, then I have to find ways of seeing value in myself. When I was a young woman, I was not considered pretty. Now, you may not think I look pretty now because now I'm old, but I don't really care because what's important, I started to think of myself outside of that mold. Who am I? It's like, I'm not going to waste my time trying to compete to be the prettiest girl on the block. There is no prettiest girl on the block. It's ridiculous anyway because everybody is beautiful. So it's, get creative with ourselves and find ways of value what we can do with the limitations we have. Okay, and the next and last of these, why we're celebrating, because see, I'm keeping some track of the time here, because time is limited, right? Our limitations allow us to die, and our death creates the possibility for new life. If I were not limited in my ability to regenerate my body, I would live forever. Now, do I want to live forever in the world that we have here? I don't know. But supposing I live forever and you live forever and he lives forever and too bad, new birth, new growth, no space. As is, we're destroying the entire planet, consuming everything. But we have now we have no limitation on our insatiable need to eat everything, kill everything, consume everything. And at the same time, we need to make space, right? Space for other beings, other species, for new growth, new plants. I always feel terrible when I see an old tree die, but I'm not talking about global warming. Again, this is abuse, but I'm just talking about the natural degeneration of things that happens because we are limited in our ability to reproduce ourselves on a daily basis. And people are so busy going out there trying to figure out how to overcome that limitation so that we can always regenerate new teeth, new eyeballs, new brains, you know what I mean, new souls. So that's no good, because then there is no new life and there are no new opportunities. You know, those of us, most of us, stay in the limitations of what we learned at a very early age, and we're stuck with these patterns and behaviors forever. And a new generation can come along that maybe isn't as stuck as we are in certain ways. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Maybe some of the younger generation actually believes that women are human beings and should be created equally, or that black people are actually people, and so on. Whereas when I was growing up, none of that was the case, you know. So there is really something to be said for sweeping out the old
Yeah,
and making
the old guard
space.
passes away.
Thank God. I'm not sitting here crying for Eisenhower to return. Uh-oh, now YouTube won't let me promote this program because I mentioned the name of someone who they're going to probably have on a list, and they're going to say it's electoral politics, which it isn't. So anyway, now I'm really messing with myself here. But anyway, that means I've limited myself to people who come without me promoting it. Oh my God, limitation. So you see what I've said. I hope that very quickly, I've given you an idea of why limitations are our friend. They help us to grow. They help us to be creative. They help guide our lives. They allow us to move on, to make room for something new. And we have them always. It's not like old age brings limitations, guys. Every age, every condition, whether you're rich or you're poor or you're sick or you're healthy, and I didn't even get into the illness thing, we all have limitations, every one of us. We have so many emotional and spiritual limitations as well. And we try to overcome them to best we can, but we also acknowledge that we can only function within the limitations that the universe has given us and guide our lives. Now let us be grateful. So I am grateful that you were here today. Please like or love this show on Facebook and give it a thumbs up on YouTube, and become a follower on Facebook and a subscriber on YouTube, and click the notification
Notification bell.
Right. And leave your comments if you're not here live and have not left a comment. And please share this program, because everybody suffers from feelings of, oh, this is so terrible, I'm limited. Oh, it's and I really think that this might help. And there you go.
Yep, I quite agree.
So come back next week, Wednesday at 6:30, for the next Lighting the Way, Granny Raps and Rocks, on whatever topic happens to come to me that day. And don't forget, Thursday night, because this is Wednesday night, Thursday night at 7 p.m. Pacific time, we do Magical Improvs, which is all music. I made it through my list. It's a good thing I kept a very limited number.
So you can be creative within your list.
That's right. Okay.
Okay, then.
Thank you for your support. We love you. And please support our program.
Glad to have you with us.
Yes.
Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.